While Stranger Things Season 5 will eventually be available on Netflix, it won't be until after you have had time to process Season 4's events. Fair enough, they did fully warn us, but we anticipate that our recovery will take some time. The gang will now engage in one final confrontation in an effort to save Hawkins and the entire world. Can they truly leave the Upside Down behind them and return to normal life? There is undoubtedly a ton of ground to cover, as Stranger Things creators the Duffer brothers have revealed that Season 5 will be the show's final season. Here is all the information you need to know about the upcoming final season of Stranger Things on Netflix. Stranger Things Season 5 potential release date. When is Stranger Things Season 5 on Netflix? We know that Stranger Things Season 5 is coming, but we don't know when that will happen. So, we have some good news and some terrible news. There was a one mighty gap between Seasons 3 and 4 at the time of the release of Season 4 Volume 2, and the crew had not yet started shooting the concluding episodes. Even with the pandemic scenario to deal with, it still took them a good 3 years to complete. Season 3 was released in July 2019 and Season 4 didn't premiere until June 2022. You can guarantee the program will want to go into action sooner rather than later, though, given the cast is getting older every day. The Duffers admitted in an interview with Collider shortly after the publication of Volume 2 in July 2022 that the writer's room stage of pre-production had not yet begun, despite having developed a strategy while filming Season 4. I know that the writer's room is going to start in that first week of August, but we're going to take a little vacation in July, and then we're coming back, Ross said. Given this and the enormous amount of post-production work required, we would wager that Stranger Things will return at some point in 2024. Actor David Harbour later backed this hypothesis by proposing the same time period. 7 years ago, we sketched out the whole story arc for Stranger Things. At the time, we projected the story would endure for 4 to 5 seasons, Matt and Ross Duffer said in a statement announcing the end of the show. It was too big to tell in 4, but you'll soon see for yourself that we are rapidly approaching the end. The penultimate season, Season 4, will be followed by the last season, Season 5. In the Stranger Things universe, there are still a ton of intriguing tales to be told, new mysteries, new adventures, and new surprising heroes. But first, we hope you'll stick around as we wrap up this story about a strong girl named Eleven and her courageous friends, a damaged police chief and a fierce mother, a small town called Hawkins, and a dimension known only as the Upside Down. We appreciate your support and patience as always. We'll be sure to let you know as soon as we learn more specific information. Stranger Things Season 5 cast. Who is in Stranger Things Season 5? As you are already aware, not everyone survived Season 4 as much as we wanted them to. But going ahead to Season 5, there is still a cram-packed list of important characters to keep track of, with all the actors involved quite likely to make a comeback. The children's group consists of Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, Noah Schnapp, Caleb McLaughlin, Gaten Matarazzo, Sadie Sink, Priya Ferguson. Then there's the Stranger Things' own version of a babysitter's club, with the elders of the group being Joe Keery, Maya Hawke, Natalia Dyer, Charlie Heaton, Eduardo Franco. Finally, there are the main adults and parents of the group: David Harbour, Winona Ryder, Brett Gelman, Tom W. Laskia. Some of the villains are certainly sure to make a return as well, even though these are plenty to keep track of alone. Spare a thought for Jamie Campbell Bower, who must spend hours in the makeup chair each time he transforms into this scary, tentacle-covered Uber villain, who is obviously above everyone and everything else. The actor Jamie has been fiercely defending his character, even joking that we might see more of his humanity by the end, despite the fact that Vecna is undeniably the height of evil. I can definitely see him as a source of contention. But is he a villain or evil, for example? I mean, I adore him and I understand him, and I can relate to him, he said, later adding, I can understand him, therefore I'm always going to be on his side. Additionally, it's likely that at least a few new characters will be introduced in Season 5, which will be necessary given that Season 4's climax saw the deaths of a number of characters, including Eddie Munson, a new fan favorite. Despite the fact that his hero has passed away, there is a fan idea that might yet bring him back. Me and Joe Keery were considering methods in which I could said actor Joseph Quinn, who has been attempting to find a way to revive the metalhead Tomash another day. Perhaps I'd be nothing more than S or anything, as if there could be some kind of space for anything somewhat magical like that. Even though an interdimensional tear literally tore through Mason Dye's character Jason Carver at the end of the Season 4 finale, this frightening jock might make a surprise return to Hawkins to terrorize the gang once again thanks to Vecna. When we learn more, we'll let you know. Although there haven't been any formal announcements, there are proposals for new cast members circulating. David Harbour has suggested that Jacob Elordi, who stars in the television series Euphoria, play a younger version of him should the need for a flashback or possibly a spin-off emerge. Harbour remarked to GQ Hype, he could pull off being as attractive as I was at 20. At this moment, I believe Hopper is a person who can exist without me. I'd want to see a different actor play Hopper and see what they can bring to it if they want to travel through time, whether ahead or back. Will there be a Stranger Things spin-off? Season 5 will have a major role in determining how Hawkins will withstand the destruction of the previous seasons. Beyond the emotional roller coaster that has been promised, the Duffers have been mum about what will transpire. The Stranger Things spin-off has been discussed, and not just in optimistic Twitterverse exchanges. There have actually been genuine tidbits hinted by the Duffers themselves, so it's not a reach to imply that these events could bleed into it. When they said, there are still many more thrilling stories to tell within the universe of Stranger Things, new mysteries, new adventures, and new unexpected heroes, the brothers made it clear that the Hawkins saga was not over after Season 5 finale. Even the current Stranger Things cast members have been kept in the dark, although there was one who managed to rumble their hidden plans. The directors have been so sparse with the information they're dispensing. The two acknowledged that Finn Wolfhard came up with the idea for the new show's approach when speaking to Variety. Finn Wolfhard, he wasn't spitballing, he simply went, "I think this would be a good spin-off," Ross stated. Wolfhard said the following when asked about the possibility of a spin-off. "I think if it was in 10 years or whatever, and there was a movie or a limited series, I think that'd be sort of great. Smooth to the extreme. Even while a prequel would be equally exciting. The scant information we have suggests that the spin-off might occur much, far later in the future." Stranger Things Season 5 plot. What will happen in Stranger Things Season 5? Be prepared for a tearjerker, guys. According to the Duffers, just the proposal had Netflix executives cry over the show's ending. The rap quotes Matt Duffer as saying, "We do have a plan for Season 5 and we pitched it to Netflix and they really responded strongly to it. The narrative comes to a close. It was crazy when I witnessed executives crying who I had never seen cry before. Sure, a few individuals did pass away before the end of Season 4, but this far in, it's strange that all of the big players have survived unscathed. Let's hope that this implies that the stakes are raised higher next time around." As much as we adored Sadie Sink's performance in Season 4, these kinds of decisions robbed the show of some badly needed tension. Even Max, who did in fact die, briefly, ended up making a surprise return at the very end too, undermining the power of her supposed death with some cowardly backtracking. However, this can open the door for Max to experience a future plot arc that is much more painful. According to what we've seen of her, she could experience a fate worse than death, losing all memory of who she is, who her friends are, and her life before her valiant efforts to stop Vecna. It's also likely that she is coping with going blind, and that she faces a difficult recovery because every bone in her body was broken. She told Entertainment Weekly, "I'm not sure where we're headed and what Max's situation is. It's definitely all up in the air right now." Even though it seems like the actress is equally unaware of current events as we are, she continued by expressing interest in finding out how Max would fare when Season 5 does air. She continued, "I'm just as eager as everyone else to learn where Max is and how she's doing." Although it's possible that the writers are simply being cautious right now in preparation for full-on mayhem when this show's 5th season ends. The Duffer brothers hinted the first aspects of the final season, including the promise that episodes will be significantly shorter, in an interview with the Happy Sad Confused podcast shortly after the release of Season 4, Volume 2. The only reason Matt Duffer and his team don't anticipate being as long is because, if you look at this season, it takes over 2 hours of build-up before our kids are actually lured into a mysterious mystery. You get to know them and observe them in their daily lives. They struggle to adjust to high school and other factors, and Steve is looking for a date, among other things. Obviously, none of that will happen, and I think that's going to carve out at least a couple of hours and make this season feel really different, said Matt. Characters are going to be in action, they're going to have a purpose and a drive. While the writers haven't taken the initiative to come out and say it, an emotional scene between Will and Mike seemed to make it clear to all viewers that the teen's feelings for his best friend were far from platonic. This is another well-worn-out plot in the story. The persistent theory is that Will Byers is gay and in love with his best friend, Mike, while Jonathan is understanding. And once more nothing was ever said, it is obvious that Will is afraid of being honest about his thoughts, particularly in the heart of 1980s Indiana, which eventually led to an emotional heart-to-heart conversation with his brother. Will muster up the courage to finally tell the truth, but with the end of the world approaching, how will Mike respond to the information given that he is dating Eleven? We do know that, if the Duffers have their way, the finale will most likely be another 2.5-hour extravaganza. Additionally, Matt compared the final season to the Star Wars film Return of the Jedi, not because of the tone but rather because there would be less ramping up. In other words, it would be full speed ahead. The entire town of Hawkins is essentially under siege at this point, and with not just 1 but 2 members down, the gang truly have their work cut out for them going ahead. That was kind of a given though following Volume 2's terrible ending. Stranger Things Season 5 trailer. Any Stranger Things Season 5 footage yet? Sorry, but it's quite doubtful that any new footage will be released anytime soon, especially given that filming hasn't even started. The crew will be keeping everything under lock and key for a while because of their reputation for secrecy. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.